Daniel started off with his career as a journalist, working as a reporter for newspapers and radio stations. After his MBA in media management, he joined the digital product management of RTL, which is Germany's biggest private television network. Since 2013, Daniel is building and leading the paid content business of Axel Springer's Bild, which now counts for more than 489,000 digital subscribers. Welcome to the WAN-IFRA conference, Daniel. Would have been great to have you here in India, but I guess for the now, given the situation for COVID, it's better to be in Berlin.
Probably. We're still under lockdown in Berlin. Thanks for the introduction. Yes, I would have loved to come to Delhi, but maybe in the next years that will still be possible. Meanwhile, I'm very happy that WAN-IFRA is organizing these events and is giving us all the opportunity to catch up on how paid content is doing all over the world and to see each other, even though it's digital. I think it's great that we still have these opportunities. So if you like, I can start with my presentation. Yes, or do you have anything?
Please go ahead. Please go ahead. And I would love to know. And 489,000 paid digital subscribers is huge. And we'd love to know. And I'm sure there are people wanting to know about how you make all this money.
Yes, I'm happy to talk about that, and I will try to be brief with my presentation so that we've got at least 10 minutes left in the end to go for questions and for the discussion. So meanwhile, we even reached the 500,000 subscribers in our base, which was a great success in the end of the last year. And yes, what I wanted to show you today are, as you said, some examples for our retention measures that we tried last year. So what you are going to see is not the one case. It's not going to be the one recipe that probably should work for everything to retain all the users, but it's more of like a broad spectrum of different ideas and projects we initiated last year, and some of them are still alive, as you are going to see, and some we already stopped again because they didn't work. But let's jump into it and let's start. So I'm going to share my slide deck, and then we're going to take a look at the things we tried last year, some of the things to boost the retention of our business. So as I've said, BILDplus is the paid content model of Bild. Bild is Europe's biggest daily newspaper. It's a tabloid. We reach about 25 million unique users each and every month in Germany through our digital products, and we've now more than 500,000 subscribers, making us the biggest subscription news product in Germany, and also one of the big ones in Europe and the world. Let's get started. So what did we do last year to create habits? I want to focus on three areas: product, marketing, and video. And we're going to start with product, and I'm going to jump right into it. The first thing we started last year was a daily sex and love horoscope. So our objective was to address with this horoscope also readers who were not subscribers yet, because we knew that the free horoscopes on our website were read by a lot of people who weren't subscribers up until that point. We also wanted to address more female users because our subscriber base is really male. Yeah, we take a look at those demographics. We wanted, as we're a tabloid, we always want to be entertaining in a certain way. So we wanted to deliver entertaining content. And we also wanted to test to send out these horoscopes via email newsletter, because right now you only find horoscopes on the website itself. So we asked our users what kind of topics could be interesting for you guys for horoscopes. And there was a tendency to health issues, to job issues, but also to love and sex issues. And would being a tabloid, as I've said, we sometimes then go for these topics, to be honest. And we started this daily love and sex horoscope. And as I've said, our goal was to on the one hand, get more of the users who weren't subscribers into the product, but also to see if a certain number of our existing subscriber base was attracted by this content and therefore staying probably longer in the product because they were getting hooked by this content, reading it every day. But I have to say, the case was it didn't work. Yeah, so we saw no relevant new subscriptions out of this product. But most important, we also didn't see that existing subscribers were falling for those articles and for those stories. And that's why I think after 8 weeks we stopped it. And since then we haven't given it another chance and focused on other projects. So the first one did work that we did last year. Another project we did last year was the so-called slot machine. And here the objective was to encourage existing customers to use the website more regularly and regardless of the content that we have on the website, or regardless of the time of the day. So, I mean, if you imagine you wake up in the morning, your iPhone is waking you up, and you take a look at build.de because you want to get an update on the latest news. Then, of course, we see that in the traffic of our website, as you might all see it in the morning. And our goal with this slot machine, with this game, was that we attract users back to our website, no matter what the news cycle is. So when users are coming in the morning because of the news, we wanted them to come back at 10 o'clock, for example, or at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because we said, well, now it's time to use the slot machine, and only now between 10 and 11 a.m. or only between 2 and 3 p.m. you can use the slot machine to win something. And we wanted to use this, obviously, as another driver for people to come back to our website. And we wanted to create a habit through that. And you could win like iPhones or money and stuff like that. And what we saw was that the retention rate of the people who used this product was 3.3 percentage points better than the average. So what you see here is the retention of the users in the first 30 days of their subscription. So taking a look at new subscribers, which we also gained through this product, we saw already that subscribers who subscribed because of the slot machine were staying longer in the product than the average. So that was a good sign. And we also saw this positive effect with the existing customers. And that's why we kept the slot machine. And we are even now trying to improve it, to make it easier to play it. And yeah, we really want to build on that. So that worked. What also worked, I can already tell that, was sweepstakes. We always had sweepstakes as a part of our subscription products. So the only way to take part on sweepstakes on build.de was if you had the subscription for BILDplus. And again, we wanted to use those to drive engagement, to drive the frequency and the recency, people coming to our website. And again, we saw that people who were taking part in sweepstakes had a better retention in their lifetime. So just 1.5% points, you can argue that that's not too much, maybe even close to being not really significant or not so easy to measure. But we took some further analysis, and what we also saw was this. So what you see is if people take part in sweepstakes, sometime, or let's start here. If people don't take part in sweepstakes, then they store a certain average of time in their subscription, right? If they take part a lot in sweepstakes, for example, just in sweepstakes, don't read anything else, don't watch videos, don't read articles, but 100% sweepstakes, then you can see they stay not as long as the people who use less sweepstakes. And the sweet spot for us seems to be here. So it seems to be good if people take part in sweepstakes, yeah? But they shouldn't just be there for the sweepstakes, of course. And we try now to orchestrate the traffic and the usage so that we gain from this positive effect. And of course, we want to limit the effect of users just subscribing because of sweepstakes. We of course want to be a news product. We want our users to subscribe our product because of the news that we deliver. of the articles, the videos, not only because of something you can win on the website. Still, it seems to be an important part of the product and can help to keep subscribers longer in their product. So what we decided then was to, again, like with the slot machine, to improve it, to further build on it. And we introduced just some weeks ago the so-called Mega Monday, where each and every Monday we've got a huge thing on our website. We also try to improve the value of the prizes that you can win. So now it's for example, the PlayStation that is hard to get in Germany, for example, or it's expensive hardware from Apple that works well. And we also try to combine it on the website in a certain way with our current pricing, in this case, for example, for new subscribers, but also with stories you only get if you've got a subscription. And we see that this layout is working pretty well on the website. So in the past, we just had this pricing banner on build.de in the upper part of the website, in between of all the news stories. And that was already an important driver to new subscriptions, because it was sort of the entry point for a lot of people who didn't want to subscribe through an article, or who maybe thought, well, this article is interesting, this one is too, there's the price, okay, I'm going to start my subscription there. But what we now saw was, if we were adding sweepstakes, and if we're also adding some of our best converting articles and make this kind of huge window out of that, that of course you can see it is a huge window for BILDplus, and works pretty well. And we also saw that we could use this area below here for articles like evergreens, for example, that didn't really fit into the news cycle on a single day, maybe because they had no news angle to their story, but this gave us the opportunity to place them on the website and on the upper part of the website anyways. And yeah, that seems to be working well for us, and we kept that therefore on board, and as I've said, improving it and trying more and more and doing more and more A/B tests with it. So yeah, that's it from the product side, and we're going to switch now to the marketing side of our habits creating project last year. And what we did there was that we sent out more and more emails depending on current events. So besides of newsletters that come each and every day or once a week or so, we decided to send more ad hoc immediate releases of emails when a certain story broke. So we had breaking news stories, we had documentaries that had a certain video documentaries that had a special news hook, if you like, and we just send out single content emails to our subscribers promoting these stories, and that worked well for us to drive the engagement. And we're also going to see that one here. This is about boxing later on when we talk video, and why this one was important for us when it came to video content. We then try to even, we try to combine it with our newsletter, with our newsletters. So we send out for 4 weeks different content-driven newsletters. And there was, you might argue, well, that's not something new. At least for us at Build, it was something new, because our newsletters were a lot about sweepstakes in the past. Our newsletters were a lot about auto-curated content, just coming from RSS feeds. And we really wanted to try something else now. And we set up this test with 4 content newsletters. And we curated them not automatically, but through the editors, and had different areas in the newsletters. So we had breaking news stories or articles that were relevant on that day. We had evergreen content, documentaries even, and we had sweepstakes. And we try to improve how we arranged the content in these newsletters. And what we could see was that sometimes evergreen content in these newsletters was working very well, whereas current news stories didn't work so well. So it seems, I mean, that might also be obvious, but it seems that the readers of our newsletters were more engaged through evergreen content, and the current news articles, they probably already knew them because they were using the website or the app anyways. But it was an interesting way for us to introduce our users to other articles that were not part of the news cycle. And I think that's important because, again, just talking about build.de, our website is changing a lot during the day. So I don't know, every 20, 30 minutes, the website looks a little bit different in the upper part. And as a normal subscriber, even if you're a highly engaged user, you might only come to the website maybe 2 or 3 times a day, and then you're already sort of highly engaged. And so you don't have any chance to see all the different contents, and especially the BILDplus contents that we have to offer. And therefore, these newsletters with older content sometimes are important for us to show you the variety and the broad content spectrum that we have to deliver, or that we can deliver. And this helps us to drive the engagement of the users, and in the end, retain them and keep them longer in their subscription, because they now see what else BILDplus has to offer besides the things they see on a daily basis in connection to the news cycle on the website. We also try to improve our email onboarding. So in the past, our email onboarding was like spread over, I think, 4 weeks. The first 4 weeks of the subscriptions, we had 5 to 6 different emails, and we skipped it down to 3 emails that will reach you in the first days of your subscription. So we want to get you to download the app, because of course within the app it's easier for us to keep you engaged through push messages, through also different other marketing tools we can use in the app. We want you to get in contact and in touch with video, and I'm going to talk later about why that is important for us. And we want you, as you've seen, we want you to take part in our sweepstakes. We want you to win something, because as we've seen from some of the numbers, that also helps us to drive the engagement and the retention numbers. So this was also something we set up completely new last year, but I can also say we are currently testing a totally different onboarding, where we don't show you these 3 different things, which are more or less product driven, right? I mean, it's about the app, it's about the video documentaries. And now we've got a onboarding test that is just showing you content. And the first indications are that this is working even better. And again, a good message, I think, because I mean, in the end, we're all here for the content, but it seems to be a better driver than just downloading the app or just subscribing to a newsletter, for example. Another thing we did was this Facebook cancellation test, as we call it. So what we did here was we used Facebook ads, paid ads on Facebook, to show current articles to users who were probably on the edge to unsubscribe. So whenever we saw in our data that users were dropping in engagement, coming not so often to our website anymore, we bought paid ads on social media, especially on Facebook, and we used those to show current articles to the users, and that helped to drop the engagement in this test group. That helped to drop the cancellation rate of this test group by up to 30%. So it was a very important driver for us to show new content to the users who were on the edge to unsubscribe. Another thing was that we took a look at our sleepers. So there are people, and you might also have those in your subscriber base, who don't come to your website anymore. So they, for any reason, for some reason, they're still paying the subscriptions, but they are not using the product anymore. And what we did was we stopped emailing those users our newsletters or our mailings about sweepstakes and so on. And in this test, we found that up to, I think, 28%, we were able to drop the cancellation rates if we stopped to email sleepers. So yeah, that's also something you might take a look at if you've got sleepers. Do you still want to try to engage them, or is there a certain point in time where it's too late to engage them and where it's better to not email them anymore? I mean, you can always argue if that is fair or not. Yeah, I mean, if people are probably not noticing anymore that they've got a subscription, still paying it. I think Netflix last year had this story where they said we are stopping billing. We stopped billing them. Yeah, we're not so far. We can still use these users, but again, this is something we really do as a last measure. So we really try everything to engage these users again, to get them back to the product again before we do this. And this was an A/B test we just did, and we now discuss how we want to further work with this. The last thing is video, and then we've got, I hope, a lot of time still for questions. So video was an important driver for us in the last 2 years when it came to gaining new subscribers, but also to retaining our existing subscriber base. And we had a parallel approach, if you like. So we, on the one hand, bought video content from the market. So we bought video content, documentaries, for example, from the National Geographic, from the BBC, from all the networks that are out there in the world. And we tried to buy, of course, content that was fitting in certain ways the current news cycle. So when there was discussions about the new James Bond, unfortunately it's not out there yet, but we bought a documentary about James Bond. And on the other hand, we had documentaries we did on our own. So I mean, our reporters are out there each and every day doing news stories anyways for the print newspaper, for the digital website. So of course it's a way to say, well, if you've got an interesting story that you're on, bring a video reporter with you and make sure that you've got enough video content so that we don't only have an article, a written article, but also some video material we can use for small video within the article, or we can use for a documentary. And we saw that these documentaries we produced on our own were working very, very well in gaining new subscribers. So when you take a look at the top 10 contents converting last year in terms of just absolute numbers for BILDplus, 8 of these 10 contents were video content related. And when I talk about documentaries, I don't mean 45 minutes. When I talk about documentaries, what we saw was working well for us was 8 to 12 minutes. Yeah, I mean, when you're using our digital product, you're probably not often in a situation where you can watch a lot of video. You're probably a commuter. You probably have a limited data volume in Germany in your mobile phone tariff. So you don't want to watch videos that are super long, at least if you're not at home. And 8 to 12 minutes seem to be an interesting length for the subscriptions for the video documentaries we have on our website. Another thing we did was live streams. So we really focused on sport live streams, especially on so-called niche content. So not the first soccer league, but the third soccer league, or boxing, which used to be popular in Germany, which isn't right now, and which made it easier for us to buy those rights, mixed martial arts also, for example. And we were able to address a whole new target group through that. And the good thing is we are not only having these live streams, which are sort of which are of course content you just probably want to see once in the evening on a Saturday, and then you unsubscribe again because you saw the fight. What we're building up now is the whole universe around it. So we're also reporting about these fighters during the week. We're also making sure that once we show a fight, we can already say when the next fight will be on, so that you don't unsubscribe because you just want to see the fight. So, but that you can build again a habit to stay on the subscription because you know that Bild will always have this content for you. And yeah, that's something we learned last year and which went well for us. So we keep that. And that's about it already. So I hope I wasn't rushing too much through all these different examples. And I hope we still have some time for questions.
Well, we don't have too much time for questions, but I'll ask a couple of them. First of all, great presentation, Daniel, and we've heard a lot about about what y'all are doing there in Germany, but it's a good idea to get up close with the insights. We have a question which is interesting. Would you be able to share a typical funnel structure, which is how many who visit the site, how many sign up for the site, and how many ultimately become paid customers? And then if an X visits, what percentage of X will sign up, and ultimately what percentage will become?
Yeah. So you've got to keep in mind, as I said in the beginning, that we've got about 25 million unique users each and every month. So 500,000 subscribers isn't too much out of that. And if you know that 70 to 80% of these 25 million are coming directly to our page because they've got some sort of connection to our brand, they are not coming by accident through social media, but they are coming to build.de because they really type it into their browser, or they already have the app. Then you get an idea, 500,000 here, 25 million there, on how huge we still think our potential is to subscribe more users.
Right. We have a question about churn. How do you combat churn? What is your average churn rate per month? What are the strategies that you would come out to reduce the churn rate? When a customer leaves you, what would you find the reason for it and target new customers?
So we've got a low single-digit churn rate in percent per month. And I think the most important thing for us right now is to reduce involuntary churn. So I don't know about you guys, but we probably all have the problem of more or less in some markets of users who drop out of the subscription because their payment data wasn't valid anymore. The credit card failed to bill. And we really want to focus on that this year to reduce this involuntary churn of users who are dropping out because their payment data hasn't worked. And we see huge potential there, at least for us in the German market, to reduce churn numbers through that.
And how many years did you take to get to this position from the time you started?
So we started 2013. So it's more than 7 years now. And I have to be a little bit critical, to be honest. Of course, 500,000 is a lot, and we've been growing ever since. So there hasn't been a month where we did not grow, which is a great success for us. Still, as I've shown you with the example of the 25 million and the 500,000, we still think that there's a huge potential, and we still know so many topics where we aren't state of the art or not even close, that we're really confident that there's a lot of more room for growth.
Great.
And I can only maybe one last thing, I can only recommend to really test a lot, to also stop things if they are not working, and to be as agile and fast as possible to test new ideas, and try to keep your technical infrastructure easy so that you're not depending on those for too long, so that it doesn't take you time, so that you're really flexible in testing.
Agility is the word. Thank you very much, Daniel. Wonderful session. I'm sure people will be inspired by whatever you've said and some of the ideas that you've had and you've built at Build with some success. Thank you very much.
Sorry, gentlemen. I think it's time. Actually, we need to wrap up these sessions and move on to the next, because we got a few more sessions coming up later.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for having me, and enjoy the next sessions.
Okay, thank you, guys. We can actually move on to the next sessions by going back to the timeline. And thank you.